right, guys. I am Doug Bruner, and this is The Toast, and we are at it again today. And I am here with a man we call JCTGP, John Paul, the living legend. And John Paul is his full name. So don't ask him. It's Paul. That's the last name. Don't double take it. John, thank you for being here. John Paul is a special human being. That's to say the least. So, number one, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you bet. John Paul is also very special because if you're joining the Ag Center and you enjoy the Ag Center, we hope you do. If you don't, you suck because we're doing big things, mainly because we brought this what's like the wildest animal in the jungle?
Man, bear, pig.
Yeah, no. Okay, whatever you want to talk about. We brought this man bear pig on to help lead the Ag Center to greatness. And we have so many new things we're working on. We just don't want to uncover him because he'll start screaming at the top of his lungs. So JP, thank you for coming here right now. And we're going to have fun today because not only are you now helping at the Ag Center, but you got a lot of fun things going on. So thank you again today. And tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Well, I know. Actually, I'm supposed to do it the right way. Somebody critiqued me the other day. JP, you are a family man, oriented man, come from a Armenian background. Sometimes you don't always claim it, but that's okay. I get it.
We have to fly under the radar. So it can go one of two ways, right? You're either a part of the really good crew or you're part of the vast majority of the bad side.
But as Josh Mendoza says, we want to focus on a couple things with John Paul. Family, stone fruit, and technology. Because that is John Paul in a nutshell.
I guess
right? So let's talk about family, first of all.
Born and raised here in the Valley. I was brought into the world at a very interesting time for our family. And so I think much to my success, I owe that back to them. We're a small family in Fresno, but have a long-standing history here. Immigrated here and family integrated here in 1904, and we've been here ever since. So from insurance to farming, tree fruit, table grapes, value-added fresh fruit, gift basket business to technology, the Paul family has sure made a staple here. And I guess being the fourth generation, it's my duty to carry that forward. So,
yeah, absolutely. That's a strong suit, a fourth generation, and that you're still interested in. Not only are you interested, you literally are so passionate. That's what drew me to you is your extreme passion for everything you do. It's almost to a fault at times, but I get it because that's me.
You can blame it on my, high-tempered ethnicity.
Yeah.
Both sides. But
that is just your excitement in everything you do. And you feel like if I didn't build that house today, I failed. And sometimes you got to hold back from that and like say, hey, what did I do good today? But I just love that freaking punching, fighting mentality every single day that you bring. And that's why I get a kick out of messing with you all day long.
It's an interesting energy because I know that, I'm blessed to be doing all of these things and in the capacities I'm doing them. And so you have to find excitement in everything that you're doing. Otherwise, there's no purpose, right? And, I wake up and it's ballistic every day, right? The Ag Center presents its own challenges. Technology business has its own. Farming definitely always has its own, especially in, modern time now. But, to say the very least, you got to have a little bit of moxie to take this type of thing forward and, but not losing sight of why we're here.
When you apologize beforehand?
Would I apologize?
No. I like it when people apologize beforehand because it's just going to be that damn crazy, right?
It's going to get crazier.
Yeah.
It's not even that it's already there and we're going further. So
your family, one thing I do love, anytime I'm in your car or around you, I see your mom or your dad's phone always ringing. Super. I don't care who you are. that is something special. Or your uncle, you are entrenched in a foundation of a family that has made you who you are today. And I mean, you don't have to get too deep, but just you have a firm layer beneath you that, I've seen a lot of people come and go in businesses, but it just always feels if you have that backfall of a family, they just push you back up. I had a bad year. They push you back up. I remember one of the first years I hit gold in tomatoes for 2 years, and third year I was getting my ass kicked. And I remember driving down the dirt road to my dad, and he's sitting there having a cold beer, and I got tears running down my eyes. I'm about to lose a lot of money. And my dad says, well, it's about damn time. You know what I mean? And I sat there, had a beer with him, and I just like, all right, it's time to get, life is not that perfect, right? And I know
it'll kick you in the ass.
Yeah, and I know you and your family, we've talked about it. We don't, not details, but you guys have fallen down, getting back up. And I think, JP, you are a man who, I don't care how many times somebody kicks you in the balls, you're going to keep going.
You have to. You got to just recognize it.
You want me to kick you in the balls right now?
No, I think we're just going to wait right there.
Okay.
So, yeah. But no, I mean, perfectly said. I mean, there's plenty of times in my life that, I've been able to, witness some really great wins. And I've also had to, endure some very great losses, starting at childhood, being that we were in the middle of losing all of the farming back in early time. I guess 94 is when I brought into the world, so I'm 27. But no, like I said in the very beginning of this, I came into this world at an interesting time where, we had built up to about 1,800 acres of, diversified crop, and between Fresno and Madera County, and between some family pitfall, more on my grandfather's side, but really due to the hands of bad business people, we were losing that. So, I guess first and foremost on this, for people who don't know who I am, I owe all of my success, one, to God, two, my mom and dad and my family, like you were saying. And so being innovative is something that we've always pretty much done as a family. And my parents got married young at, 22. And that's really not that common nowadays, to have a situation where young people get married and build businesses together and remain married through two big pitfalls. And so I was
Beautiful.
Beyond blessed to be in front of some really true role models that, wanted to be the difference. They held my brother and I close on all this and exposed us to the good and the bad to teach us, in life, especially as, an entrepreneur, you have to go through really, really bad times to understand how to treat and see in front of them how you're going to react. And so, when we were losing the ranches, I mean, we had a Bouquet of Fruits to fall back on. And Bouquet of Fruits was the premier fresh fruit gift basket business all the way to 34 years. God bless my mother.
So we went from family to fruit. Stone fruit's coming on now.
We're transitioning in there. So, God bless my mother, 34 years of handling retail. She wanted to finally enjoy some of the finer times in life. And so,
Good.
We decided as a family it'd be great to just kind of park the retail store for a little while, but it's always running in our veins. And so I guess, I've always been attracted to that whole, family stories, the memories, the pictures. My grandmother had a box, and I mean, literally a falling apart box of pictures that told a great story of how my uncles and my dad grew up, and I was always so drawn to the idea of the ranches, and hey, we had the cars.
Somebody once told me that you're just an old man.
Yeah, I think I know who that is, but it's a pretty accurate depiction coming from someone that's known me for over 10 years and beyond. So
It's okay.
and I'm okay with it. I claim it.
Hopefully you can be a young man at an old age.
Well, I want to stay young, but I don't know. I mean, the way that the Ag Center sometimes performs, it kind of ages you
I can't go on like this.
So
Doug, you just can't keep living this way.
there you go. And sometimes you got to recognize when to cut your losses, right? So
Yeah, I've told you that.
during the day. But see, now you messed it up. I don't even know where I was.
Bouquet of fruit.
Well,
And your mom retiring
nah,
and the family photos.
and that was, I think, the the biggest draw back to the ranch. So, I mean, I've had the same picture of my grandfather as my screensaver on my phone for the last 5 years. We lost him 6 years ago. And my one and only promise as one of only two grandchildren of his was, to return back to the dirt. And a lot of that fighting spirit, that, real true grit, you get knocked down, you keep going. I'm not going to say that was every bit of how I got to where I am now. I definitely was blessed with people who believed in me. I'm sitting in front of one. And I'm definitely blessed to have guidance, not only from family, but from really good businessmen who, kind of latch onto that little bit of an older soul spirit, that, that old school style. I only grew up knowing one way. And I think partly that was because, one, we were a family business, but two, I grew up in the country. My friends lived in town. I went to school 30 minutes away from where I lived. I came home, we were with the family. If it wasn't wrenching on cars or motorcycles in the garage, it was definitely cleaning the house. That was, the old way of life out there. And so, as I've kind of progressed in life and years have come along, I always ran into that situation as a younger guy that, I got the age blame. They were like, well, you're young, or you're still in college. And then it's, I kind of turn around and humbly, I would never, ever respond kind of like a jackass. But I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, I've got way more experience than guys that are my age. And that was really the blessing side of it. That really came from being in that family business, that aspect of it. But I never wore it on my sleeve. Like, hey, my last name is this. Don't you know who I am? Like, don't talk to me that way. It was kind of just, you put your head down and you keep fighting and you say, okay, it's someday. And I, the very person that helped me get back into farming told me this, he pulled me aside. We were out there with the crews. We were planting the trees. He puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, son, you are never going to have a voice until you're 40. Just know that right now. He goes, you may be good at what you do. You may succeed and prove a lot of people wrong, but know that when you're sitting at the table with guys who are older than you, you're never going to cross that line unless you can really say and pull a rabbit out of your hat that you've done it all before then. Yeah. So I always took that to heart. I always kind of took that as, what do I have, that shows for it, right? All I can say is I was blessed with the grit and that fighting spirit to hang on and not be fearful, but in essence, be fearless on being creative and trying to build things and network with people. And, I guess a lot to the testament of, look at now our friendship, our partnerships, things that you and I are doing. I mean, I think it kind of parlays into that segment of where we are now in life together. Right. Mm-hmm.
So you have the family, of course, beautiful family. You have the history of the stone fruit. Your family had a business. Now you will go into what is one of my favorite 3 letters, CTG. Which was called another company before, but now you're in technology. You've been in a lot of shit. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, for 27
probably too
years.
much.
Probably so, but
probably
it's okay.
Too much. But I respect that. So now you're in your CTG. Let's talk about CTG.
So the genesis of this, and I'll back up just a couple steps. During the time that Bouquet of Fruits was building, it was at a time of which the internet was really about 10 years old. And so as I've been...
go...
Right. I mean, it was like big computers, only 3 gigabytes. I mean, shit. I mean, my phone's got 256 gigs in my back pocket, right? I mean, it's pretty nuts how it's evolved over another 10 years. But, 20 years almost. I've been struggling with CTG to write a company history, right? And every time I sit down to write this, prior to me throwing my parents a retirement party this year, just for the store, not for my father. That guy is never going to throttle down. But I started going through some old documents, and it kind of helped me center why I'm here, right? And where I got that energy to be in technology, to want to lead ag tech in the space. And we'll get into the purpose of it in just a second. But as I was putting together a slideshow, I started reading about reading our old press releases. I mean, stuff dated in 2003, stuff in, 1998. My father quoted, I remember, this party meant so much to me because everyone that worked for Bouquet of Fruits was part of us. I mean, they watched us grow up. And so, so much so that, 2 of them are working for me at CTG. But we were early to market on the internet things and internet things being the e-commerce side of it. How do you get a fresh fruit gift basket to New York from California on the day that you want it there, right? No e-commerce plugin tools like what you see with Amazon existed. So we had to build technology in unison with Bouquet of Fruits to evolve that company. And at a time, it's kind of like what we're in now, where you see some digital currencies. A lot of people are very confused about it. There's a lot of confusion around the internet at that time where no one can fathom how big this thing would get. Its inception had been only 8 years old at the time. So I would say that's the genesis and where all of this spawned. Was at a young age I was exposed to that entrepreneurial vision on, okay, we need to build software to apply this to, a archaic way of doing business to provide a solution to propel this forward. And as I was building another business in recent times, more in the regenerative side, sustainable food waste reclamation, there was a time of which where we were building software just for that. So I'm starting to really correlate here that it was a natural instinct to kind of connect those dots. And then at that time, we had launched what was then known as JETS Technologies, and the acronyms were the four of the partners that were in it. JETS stood for the partners, and so that business kind of reintroduced me to the opportunities with where we can build software and service clients, building completely custom solutions to what they need. It's not this situation, and we get this all the time in farming, where you get a Silicon Valley or a Southern California company, ag tech company, that comes and says, "Hey, we've solved your problems on fertilizer pricing, and you can record this here," and it sends it here, and oh, by the way, this does 80% of what you do, but 20% of it, you got to change what you're doing. I mean, as farmers, I mean, look, I'm 27 and pretty innovative. Even I would say, hey, go fuck yourself. But honestly, that's kind of the motivation behind now Cultivated Technology Group is, are there any true solutions providers out there that have the inner workings of people who are in the industry and are doing the work? And by that token, I'm saying since 2016, when we planted, my tree fruit orchard, I drove the tractor, I shoveled the dirt, I watered it, I pruned it, I did everything that I could to understand it through and through, right? So that taught a valuable lesson. And so just like, we know analog functions when farming, you got to have that same type of background when you're building technology, especially a solution for a company that's coming to you saying, hey, look, we want to solve this problem. This is what we're up against right now. And, how do we get there? They're relying on us to tell them. Mm-hmm. So CTG becomes an extension of your company. I mean, we dive in from a very granular view and understand, if A plus B equals C, what are the steps to get to those three? And then how do we build something that would revolve around it? So, for me, you can tell the technology is a big passion of mine. I feel that the space is wide open, for us to be able to help companies here in the Valley, especially on the ag tech side of things, to bring solutions to the table that they never thought were possible. And, I'm smiling right now of people who can't see this, but there's an element of which I'm sure some of you heard this in your car right now or whatever you're listening to on and say, yeah, this guy's full of shit. But really, there's so much opportunity out there to go and build solutions of which, are a reality and can help, automate one function of the business that can help propel it and grow it, and I mean, look, let's just take you, for example. I mean, you believe in technology enough to where we've now built a proprietary lead tracking system for the Ag Center. And I think it's the coolest thing because you take a very non-technical person like yourself. You're the bull in the china shop. Let's get it done. I know exactly where we need to go, point A to point Z. But now you've invested in something that's now an asset to you, but also an asset to our affiliates that can facilitate this cross-collaboration of business. Well, that never existed. And you tried to use off-the-shelf software, but it became too convoluted, too complicated, right? Yep. Let's just keep it simple, plain, and stupid, right? I like things drawn on a crayon on a napkin from a diner. That's about all I can do math with, too. But, we can really build software that simple, as long as people are open enough to understanding, hey, we can do it,
Absolutely. And it has opened my mind to a lot of things that your company has done for us, and just my frustrations of investments before for the Ag Center were just mind-boggling, and just it just caused more problems. We could have wrote things down on a piece of paper and have been a little easier. And I think that's why a lot of people run from tech, especially in agriculture. We want things pretty damn easy. You
said something very important I want to make sure we touch on. Our opportunities as young tech, entrepreneurs get completely tarnished and ruined by the one person that comes in and does a really great job selling and a horrible job closing. And it almost puts up the iron gates of like, nope, we've been down this road before. It cost us, hundreds of thousands of dollars and it didn't work.
Yep.
And that
was my,
yeah.
Even when we met the first time, you're probably like, this guy's a freaking lunatic, because I was just very short.
That's a funny story, actually. I think we should probably cover that just because.
Go ahead.
Just because of the way that this whole thing has unfolded over time. It's been about a year, and I know this because time stamping on how we want to get rid of Gophers. Thank God for Kyle Espinola and Caddyshack and that whole team. But and Matt Parrish.
Yep.
Shout out to him.
Yep. Parrish is a good boy.
That's right. So, being the frustrated, ethnic, high-temper person that Doug has painted me to be on this show, I became frustrated, and not with Matt and not with Kyle, not with the company, but I'm always moving. I'm going quickly. I want to have a solution in my hand. And so this is back before CTG had been born in March of this year. It was the old company, and I said, screw it. We're going to build a prototype application for Caddyshack that can help, bring a grower solution to the table where I want to put this on autopilot. Okay. I realize I have a rodent problem. I got problems all over the place, especially on the perimeter. I just want to schedule you like Geek Squad, get you out there, and I want to pay it with my credit card and be done with this. I don't want an invoice because I was doing the books at the time. I did it all. Right. And I always get late because I'm always running. So I built this prototype. Matt Parrish made the introduction. I come over here to the Ag Center. I meet with the then it was a team of people, and I remember getting like one or two slides into this presentation, this interactive walkthrough, and Doug's attention span just snaps. He goes, "Yeah, this is cute and everything, but really, can you build me this?" And he goes into this whole spiel about the Ag Center lead tracking system and what he's trying to do with the Ag Center. I had no idea. I literally had no idea. Of course, admittedly, I was still younger in my knowledge of programming, so of course I said, "Sure, we can build anything you want to build."
Yeah.
But that really blossomed into a situation where we delivered. People are using it. People are understanding it, and I think that the acceptance, spanning over 16 or 17 different companies, is starting to realize, okay, wait a minute, like this is easy. We can grasp what this is, and so yeah, I walked away from that meeting thinking this guy's a freaking lunatic, but you know what?
True.
But yeah, and I mean, it's not far off. I mean, I think it still remains. So, but I think that one example is something of which you can open people's minds and their eyes to, like, it's a reality on a TV screen right now. Can it be a reality and at work? And so, in combination with the Ag Center and some of the other things that you and I are working on, there's a huge opportunity to see it propel and succeed. Not CTG, I'm talking ag tech in general.
Mm-hmm.
CTG will be there, and we hope to be a staple in the ag tech world, leading that space. But I think that people like yourself that have their hands in a lot of businesses and can help understand what type of value technology can bring, can help evolve many other industries and many other businesses that you want to see grow. So
I think, yeah, I mean, John, we brought you on I personally brought you on for the Ag Center because I believe you have so many talents. But, my main thing today is young entrepreneurs. You're in tech, and I just believe it is going to be something big. And I think in agriculture, I mean, just tech is taking over, unfortunately, everything, I say unfortunate because I'm not a big tech person, right? I'm not somebody who's passionate about being on a computer, and but somehow it affects my life daily, whatever I do, right?
I think, and to add to your point, I think this might have been a previous topic of discussion on this show, to where we talk about the evolvement of ag, and my first love is always going to be the ranch. And growing that and being a fourth generation, fulfilling a promise by the grace and blessing of, Vernon and Eric Peterson out of Kingsburg, California, helping me get started again. But I'm a small grower. I mean, look, let's just face it. I'm a black sheep in the tree fruit deal as a small grower. And so where I will agree with you and say, I don't know if I can 100% get behind autonomous driving and, something ordering my clothes for me when it detects that it's going to get worn out, right? I can get behind bringing some solutions to the table that can help keep me at a sizable rate that I can afford to grow, but utilize tools that can help defend and mitigate any sort of um, disasters that may be coming forward in our industry, and not losing sight of kind of the toast and some of the the real influences on it. I mean, and I'm sure you can speak to it as well, being in several crops. Ag's in major trouble if we don't find a way to present solutions that are going to work for it.
Yeah. And we have to make it easier because things are getting harder with labor and everything that we're dealing with on a daily basis. I mean, I talk to my team every Monday afternoon, and it's just this, that, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of walk out of there and, like, I'm just kind of glad I'm not in their position. Hey, this guy didn't invoice us right, or this guy screwed this shit up, or, whatever it is. And I'm, listening to my management team. And my solution, if I can be a solution, is making things easier. My solution with, the Ag Center and what I'm personally doing, and what CTG, a tech company like yourself can bring, is solutions to growers to make farming easier, funner, and a lot more palatable with everything that's going to be happening in the future, because it is changing. I've never seen things change so fast in my life.
Every day.
Yeah.
We have anywhere from material increases, sometimes 2-3 times a day, to, I call for 50 guys to come pick and I have 3 show up.
Yeah.
And no joke, I don't know what we were going to do. I mean, listen, tree fruit is a completely different type of energy. That tree is telling you when you're going to pick. It's not like any other crop where you can tell it when you're going to pick. And so labor is it's a staggering fear.
Yeah. And so, with I guess bring back the Ag Center. I guess I'm a little biased because that's what I do. But our goal here is to bring those solutions with a company like yourself to a grower to know that, hey, pipe prices are going up today. It's time to make an order. Or labor, we can facilitate your labor just through a PO or, something a day or two before, right? And work orders, whatever that may be, to facilitate these things to make your life a lot easier and guarantee a result, right? It's a tech company, and it's somebody like the Ag Center who's facilitated and worked on the back end to make sure that these companies and these people are the correct thing. And when you marriage those together, right, it's incredible. And not only that, is you got companies on this side that the consumer or the person that's going to use those, services knows that these companies are investing in those type of technologies and those type of, things to make their companies better. And that's what I think we're focused on, or I'm focused on, is that we are doing above and beyond what our competition is doing on a daily basis. We're putting out money that is not foreseen return right now, but is going to be the future processes of, I think, California agriculture.
I don't think that California agriculture, for anyone smaller than, 1,000, couple thousand acre grower, is going to survive without something like the Ag Center, it was an honor to be able to build the software to do it, because for me, my purpose is to help people get to the next level. Someone helped me get to the next level, and that's that pay it forward mentality of, we're going to fight until we help get others to the next level. And so, I was introduced to the Ag Center concept, flying by the seat of my pants. But when I had a, chance to kind of digest what we were building and what it was for and who was going to use it, I became very utterly clear that, look, this directly impacts me. So I'm building for now a purpose. And the evolvement has got to be for a purpose as well. And, what my message as a young grower to any other young growers, or anyone that, is not a corporate farmer, let's put it that way. is you got to lean on people like the Ag Center. You got to lean on this group, because one thing that, that you've brought forward is the ability to vet very good companies that have a moral compass and a purpose. People who are going to provide service now, and their word is everything. And reinstilling some of the most precious and beautiful things in agriculture, which is the relationship side of it. The moment that this business, and it's starting to kind of go that way, becomes a puncher ticket, you're in line, we'll get to you when we get to you. That's just sort of, that's what kills the energy, and it kills the excitement of wanting to jump into it. And it scares people off, because it makes people realize, look, it's not the easiest thing to claw your way into this space.
No, absolutely not.
But when you have really well-rounded companies, we talk about this quite often, about the quality of the companies in the Ag Center and what they do, and circling this back around to the technology side, how they can now utilize the technology that you've built and provided to them to reach those growers and reach that audience. This is that prevailing opportunity to keep this thing moving forward.
Yeah.
It's super important.
Well, today was fun. We try not to go too long, but John Paul, they're going to see you because you are what was that wild animal again?
Oh, man bear pig.
You're a man bear pig.
There it is.
Hey, toast to you, stud.
Cheers.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
We'll see more of John Paul. CTG is out. Doug's out. We're going to have a great day. Thank you, guys.